Hello, and welcome to another episode of My Backstage Pass. This is your host, Lee Zimmerman, with my producer, co-host, and good buddy, Billy Hubbard. And today we're excited to have another Billy with us, none other than Billy Droze. Hey, Billy, how you doing?
How you doing, Lee?
I'm doing all right, man. Two Billys. I hope I don't get too confused. You know?
We're different enough, I think.
I think so. I think so. I think so. We're actually doing this interview prior to your performance over here at the station in Louisville, Tennessee. That's this Billy's domicile.
Yeah, and we have a little echo in the room, so this is kind of a remote, so it's not our normal.
It's a remote, but that shows our professionalism, Billy, that we can take this on the road with us.
That's right.
So Billy, how are you doing, man? Congratulations on this new album.
Thank you so much, man. It's great to put a face with a name, because you did a write up about the last record or the current record, and I appreciate it, man. Those are some very kind words.
Well, it was my pleasure. This album definitely merits all the accolades that we have to give you here. So, from what I understand, this album was kind of impacted by the pandemic, right?
Yeah, a lot of it. I mean, it was. I had a lot of time on my hands, so we weren't on the road, and so we were able to. I mean, I have a studio there on the property where we live, and I'd go there all hours of the night and just get inspired. And that was my outlet to make music during the time where I actually couldn't go out and do what we're doing here tonight, which is great.
The name of the album is called "Waiting Out the Storm," and that's kind of appropriate.
Very fitting.
Out the storm of the pandemic.
Very fitting for the times, for sure.
Yeah.
I actually wrote it about my wife, but she's kind of a storm as well, so it fits.
Oh, I really? Do you want her to hear this podcast? And I think
she knows it.
Yeah.
She flaunts it.
Okay. Well, I was going to ask you, what inspired the songs on the new album? It was your wife inspired all the songs?
A lot of them. I mean, but just life, man. If I haven't lived it, if I haven't experienced it, then I'd rather not try to write about it. I mean, I come from the school of living in Nashville for all them years where I had staff publishing gigs everywhere, and so I'd have to never know any of these people you'd get in rooms with at 10 o'clock a.m. and you're just supposed to write an amazing song. That you do it so much, so many years in a row that you learn the craft of it, and then you're like, you know what? This ain't for me. I'd rather go home and write when I'm inspired. And so, it's just all about living it and going through it, and that's where I get my inspiration for sure.
But you have written songs for a ton of people. I mean, the Grascals, Daryl Worley, Flat Lonesome, Shenandoah. I mean, you've written songs for a lot of people. So obviously, you were very skilled at your craft when you were going that route.
Yeah, and I finally just kind of after having so many cuts in bluegrass, aside from country, I just decided, man, hey, I think I want to sing them from now on. So I started just singing my own tunes and put out grass records, and it's kind of where we're at today. So,
and you have awards from the IBMA and the ICMA, and you co-hosted the ICMA Awards at the Grand Ole Opry in 2018. I mean, you've got an impressive resume here.
Thank you so much. Sometimes I feel like I haven't done anything, so for you to say that makes me feel great.
No, it's true. And
I was checking this morning to see if Dairy Queen was still hiring. Down the road.
Actually, I was too. Please don't compete for that gig with me, please.
You know what's funny is we was interviewing a friend, Robert Vincent, from the UK. We said, hey, he was saying he had relatives in Knoxville. He won the Americana Artist of the Year 2021 over in the UK.
Yeah,
and I said, hey, you got any relatives named Rhonda? And then I thought about you, Rhonda. You hosted that with Rhonda Vincent.
Yes, sir.
The awards, yeah.
Wow.
We were slated for me and Sonia Isaacs of the Isaacs, which congratulations to them. They just were inducted into the Grand Ole Opry, which is awesome. They're members of the Grand Ole Opry now. And but Sonia had to go out on the road, and I thought, who can I get to replace Sonia Isaacs, that's a tall order.
Yeah.
And then Miss Rhonda, I called Rhonda up, and she was able to come out and do it with us, and that was great. We became friends, and
Cool.
still are friends today.
Well, I'm very impressed. So you were the one that made the choice of your co-host?
Yeah, that whole thing kind of got dumped in my lap, it's okay. I'd been doing a show for the Keith Whitley organization for years, or a couple of years actually at that point, where I was organized. I'm pretty good at organization and getting things going, and so anyway, the ICMAs were working at that time, and they just said, "Hey, can you help us out?" And so we just started handpicking people and getting things together, and I got to get Rhonda there, so that was really nice.
Oh, cool.
I think that's very impressive that you can just call her up and,
Well, I didn't. I put a tent out by her house for about a week, and I got a harassment charge, but
it's the bottom line is you got her over there.
I got it done.
Yeah, thank you.
We finally found a reason to pitch that.
Yes, and you got it done.
But honestly, that didn't happen. But honestly, like back in the day, y'all heard the story about Chris Christopherson landing a helicopter at Johnny Cash's house and stuff. So
cool.
I mean, it could have happened. It'd be a heck of a story.
Yeah. I'm just impressed you can call her Rhonda because I have to call her Miss Vincent.
I say definitely Miss Rhonda. She's
Miss. All right, a little bit of both.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
But she was very inspiring, all through the thing, because she's hosted all kind of stuff, and and I hadn't, and so she was just. She told me something that was very inspiring that night that I'll never forget. She said, "Brush your teeth." No, I'm joking. That's a total joke. I'm a habitual.
Oh, wait a minute. What do we have here? Wait a minute. A little.
No, that was a good joke. You're supposed to do the.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There you go.
I'm a habitual teeth brusher, but she said to me one time, I was a little. Dang, how long does that last?
I know.
Yeah,
sorry.
I was a little put out with the crowd attendance not being sold out there at the Opry House that night.
Oh.
And she goes, "Look, I'll tell you what." She said, "One time I was playing at Silver Dollar City when I was a kid, and it was raining, and we were just soaked and tired, and there was nobody there. And my daddy said, 'Hey, you got to play like there's a million people here. You just got to keep doing your thing.'"
Oh, yeah.
And she said, "I'll never forget it." She said, "That was the night that under an unset umbrella about 30 feet away was the guy that booked the Opry, that booked the Grand Ole Opry at Silver Dollar City at the time." And she said that from that show, from them doing a good job at that show, is what got them placed on the Grand Ole Opry. So she said, "You never know who's out there. You always got to treat it like there's a, arena of people." And so, I've learned a lot from her and people like her with the Marty Rabins and the, John Andersons and people like that.
I got to ask you this now. I was impressed when I saw your wife, who I was reading where did she give your album to Dolly Parton? And Dolly listened to it, man.
We live out here, or out in the country there by Leapers Fork, Franklin, Tennessee area. And there's this little cafe that's since shut down, unfortunately. But we were sitting in there having lunch, and of course, it's a hometown little thing. So everybody knows everybody. We're all good friends. Well, Dolly comes in.
Dolly comes in?
Yeah, well, Dolly, everybody comes in over there.
Wow.
That's a big thing. Like in that area, Clay Walker lives across the street, Keith Steele, Dolly Parton, Chris Jansen, just all these, stars that are, I'm the poorest country singer in the neighborhood, but it doesn't matter. So Dolly walks in, and I don't get starstruck at all because I've been around this since I was a child, but I got starstruck. Got a little shaky, and I told my wife, I said, "I'll give you $100 bill. If you take this current record and just give it to Dolly, just for fun. I don't want anything from her. Just give it to her." And she loves grass, so I thought she might enjoy some bluegrass music. So anyway, she did. She took my $100, and I felt really bad about it for about 2 weeks. And then I get this letter in the mail from Dolly Parton. So she had written my record label at the time. And the record label sent me the letter, and it was just a gorgeous letter, really sweet, kind. "Thank you for, I received this from your wife, your beautiful wife." Cool. So it was neat.
Wow.
She praised it up and down, and I gave her my last 2, and she hasn't written me back.
Oh,
well, that's cool. Well, my mom, when I was a kid, my mom would would tell me about Dolly Parton. I remember Dolly Brown, she used to be here on Kaz Walker's show and Porter Wagner and my mom's band. Well, back then they'd stand in line at live radio, and I said, "Wow, is Dolly that old?" This is after my mom got older. Because Dolly, you look at her and you think, man, she just looks like she's still young. Even
it's like Cher; she never ages.
Yeah,
yeah, guys. Well, there are reasons for that. Come on, you're so naive. Work. Okay. Anyway, sorry. But when she walks into the neighborhood restaurant, is she all dollied up?
So her thing was she would come there so often because she loved the serenity of the country and how things felt out there in the middle of nowhere. And so a lot of times if she couldn't be and look like everybody perceives her to be and look, then she'd stay in her SUV and she'd send somebody in to get a fried bologna sandwich.
Okay.
That's what she
All
got.
right.
Fried bologna.
She's still conscious of her image, though.
Well, yeah, you make millions and millions of dollars, and she still eats fried bologna sandwiches. That's humility. That's amazing.
That's
get me some bologna.
Evidently, she's had the best steak she can have, but she still loves fried bologna. That's why I love Dolly Parton.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Well, that's that's pretty fascinating story there. That you got your CD to her. You gave your wife $100.
Yes, she's never gave it back, but she won. She did what she said she did.
When you know what, I do the same thing. I'll say, there's a Chris Christopherson lookalike. I'll give you 38 cents if you go over and say, "Hello, Mr. Christopherson." I think that's big money. She doesn't argue with me. She doesn't say, "I'll do it for 48 cents. She says, you're crazy. I'm not going to do it. So I don't have to up the ante. But
my wife's more expensive.
Yeah, no, it looks like your wife, won't accept.
Actually, his wife, his wife is an artist too, right? She's very talented.
She's a photographer.
Huh?
She's a photographer.
Well, she sings.
Who's
my wife?
His wife.
Oh,
his wife.
We're
I said
off.
Billy's wife.
Billy. Is she with you tonight? Is she?
I wish. She's back wrangling 4 beautiful children that we have.
Okay. All right. That sounds good. It's got to be hard, though, having a professional career and having a home life with responsibility, too.
Yeah, it's definitely challenging, but it's our lifestyle. Being in music and bluegrass music and country music, it's not something you wake up and say, I'm going to do that. No, it's definitely a lifestyle, and you have to be from it and come up in it, in my opinion. And so our kids are very understanding that I'm out, and and my wife as well. And anytime that we can go out together, we do. We love it.
What's your wife's name?
Maria with a J.
Maria where's the J come in?
Mariaja. Maria. She's from Lithuania. So the J is silent.
Okay, I'll take.
You can't believe how many bluegrass.
Are you sure? You sure you got the spelling right, Billy?
Oh, I know for
sure. You double check. Okay.
Yeah, you can't believe how many bluegrass DJs are like, all right, now this morning we're going to play Billy Droze.
Yes,
and I have to call them. They call me all the time because, of course, she's signed to my record label, and so they call me and they say, "How do you pronounce this?" Well, just the J is silent.
Now, did the two of you go out touring together, or does she do her own thing and go out on the road herself?
She won't. Right now, she's a mama, but she's just now getting to a point where she's done like 2 or 3 big dates with me, and
all right,
and that's really fun because people expect her. They see me, they expect her, and so I was playing a show in Connecticut, and they said I actually that was one of Maria's first big venues she played. As an artist, because she's done really well. She's had a bunch of, top 10s, couple number 1s and stuff. And so I started my set after hers, and they said, "Hey, bring your wife out again." And I thought, all right, we will.
That's a good thing, but it can also kind of crush the ego a little bit.
I have no ego.
You have no ego.
My ego died in Florida like 5 years ago. That's another story for another podcast.
But on the other hand, we were talking before we started recording here, and you said you have 16 albums?
I have cut an album, 1 a year since the age of 16. I'm 34.
I had in the review that I did that you're 35. But
See, Lee, you need to quit making me older, bud. Time's going to do that on its own.
Fact check. How embarrassing is that? But all the more reason to admire what you've accomplished in 34 years. I mean, this is amazing. You're like a prodigy.
I don't know about that.
Well, I don't know, man. All these awards, 16 albums.
I wanted to get out of Sand Mountain, so I was going to do anything it took to get off of Sand Mountain, Boaz, Alabama. I still love people down there, but there's a few people I modeled my career after, and some of them being bluegrass artists and country artists, and they would put out an album every year. I can't say that there's 16 amazing albums. I can just say since the age of 16, I've made it a goal to do an album a year.
Wow.
And so,
wow. Well, I'm doing the math. You've only missed 1 or 2 years or 3 years. Yeah, a couple of 16s.
Let's blame that on COVID.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, now your dad, I got to meet your dad today when I couldn't believe his age. He said he was 89. I mean, and the guy was pretty spunky, you know. But I mean, how did he? And then my wife just told me that she was talking to him. And he said he had a band for 20 years or so in Texas.
Yeah, I mean, he's been around and done his thing, and he's 89 today. Actually, is his birthday.
Wow, is he here tonight? Is he?
Yeah,
he's gonna sing. He's gonna do a little singing, and he's still good. He's still really, really good.
Is he bluegrass or
old nostalgic country music, if you will?
Oh yeah, classic stuff. Yeah.
You started out, from what you were saying before, you started out strictly country, and you made the switch to bluegrass with the last 3 albums, I guess, right?
Yeah, bluegrass was, I mean, if you didn't do some bluegrass coming up on Sand Mountain, Alabama, well, by gosh, they'd kick you butt out of there. So bluegrass was a huge thing where I came from. And so I actually started in gospel and bluegrass and country. I mean, we never put anything in a box when I was a kid. It was just always good American music. And and it all kind of went together back then. Now it's really, country's this, bluegrass is this.
Yeah, formatted.
But, so it was kind of tit for tat. So like back in the day, it started with bluegrass, then country, and then I realized the only place I could go that made logical sense for me and I could still be artistic would be bluegrass music. I could go back to my roots and do bluegrass music, and they accepted us in bluegrass, and we're very thankful. And we bring a lot of country elements and, with songwriting and different things to it, and I think that's my own brand of American music. So
bluegrass is it's taken on a new life, kind of. It's a real populist movement now with artists like yourself and Old Crow Medicine Show and Steep Canyon Rangers. And, it's almost like you're still respecting the roots, you're digging at the roots, but you've got to have your own sound. You can't just imitate, what came before. You've got to add your own element to it, right?
Well, every art form, every musical art form has to have a natural evolution to it. I understand that. And I believe bluegrass is right now blooming into that natural evolution into different little, it's a melting pot. But I mean, and I'll go on record and say it, I don't care. But I mean, country music also evolved, in my opinion, evolved into something that wasn't even close to it, and so I believe they kind of just stripped it of what its natural sound was. Yeah. And therein lies the reason why I'm back in my favorite style, which is bluegrass.
You weren't ready to take on rappers and 57 dancers or anything behind you. That wasn't your thing.
No, I love pure stuff. Right. But I mean, and I understand it has to change a little bit, but when you absolutely just take it from what it was to not recognizable, then I'm out.
Yeah.
So when they take banjos out of bluegrass, I'm probably out. So when they took steel guitar out of bluegrass, I was out. Or country, excuse me. So and they can call me a dumb redneck for thinking that, but I don't care.
No, man, there's something to be said for the purity of form. But again, taking the roots and being able to add your own thing to it and still keep that, contemporary sound, that's pretty impressive to be able to do that.
Well, it's crazy because if you think about it, like country is special in its own because it had one instrument that was popular to it. Name one more genre. I mean, I know it's been used, but steel guitar. Where was steel guitar ever used other than country? Hardly ever. So with the evolution of country into where it is today, it killed a whole instrument. like a whole instrument just disappeared.
Yeah.
You still hear fiddles and stuff, but very seldom do you hear steel guitar anymore. Steel guitar is the prettiest instrument on the planet Earth.
It's like strings. Yeah.
So when it starts killing whole instruments, I'm like, you know what? I'm out of here.
I saw a chart once on that, and it was showing steel guitar. You guys probably saw it too. I mean, how it just declined. You know, it just went down and down and down as far as being on this
On the
session
radio.
players. You know,
I know. I mean, to this day, I have dear friends that are still guitar players that are now landlords, and they rent houses out and stuff because there's no platform for their instrument.
Yeah,
Sad to me.
It is. My dad played steel. He didn't do the paddle steel, but I always thought that, how could people just stop liking something? You know, how weird.
I don't think they stopped liking it. I just think industry-wise took it to somewhere where it wasn't needed.
Yeah, and that's when the industry musicians weren't at the top of the labels anymore. And I think that's part of we were talking the other day about that back in the Woodstock days. Is when it started. Remember the girl that independent labels? That's back whenever the Beatles and Melanie.
Yeah, they had to start their own labels because the corporate thing, even 50 years ago, was starting to intrude on things.
Yeah,
that's what we did. We had to do the same thing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So you have your own label.
It's called RBR Entertainment. We have 5 artists on the roster, and
wow,
and we're thank God we're doing well in bluegrass music, and all of our artists have had hits and are having hits right now, and so it's a good thing. Sometimes you got to wear a bunch of hats.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, are you hands-on with the business side of things?
Very much so. And
really?
And I have a partner, and partner and I have formed this label. It's RBR Entertainment, and we have Don Rigsby, who's a huge bluegrass legend.
Yeah.
We have,
oh, my gosh.
A guy named Zach Top. We have Jimmy Urey. We have Tommy Buller, myself, and my wife.
Wow.
So that's a big job. I mean, when I started it, I didn't know how hands-on it actually was, but it's a lot of work. It's like having 5 other me's I got to make happy. I can't make me happy, so it's a lot of work.
I mean, did you have any kind of preparation before you got into this thing? Did you have any idea what was involved?
Yeah, I mean, I've had and lost probably 10 record deals, so I knew exactly what was what was expected of myself.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's a very artist-friendly label. It's an artist. It's a record label ran by an artist, and but with people in our corner that the legalities of everything, and so but it is set up to be artist-friendly, and that's why we started RBR Entertainment. It's doing very well. So
wow, I mean, for some people, it might be a challenge wearing both of those hats, the business side of it and also the creative, artistic side of it too.
That's why you have a good partner that knows the business side of it.
Okay. All right with that.
But regardless, you still have to do a lot of that business side. It doesn't matter all the time. Decisions and should we do this, should we do that? And I kind of like it, I'll be honest with you. As long as I'm making great music, it doesn't have to be mine.
Yeah, yeah. So where are you guys based? Out of Nashville? You have an office on Music Row?
Yes, sir.
You really do? You have an office on Music?
13th,
you are big
17th, 16th Avenue.
Yeah, all right.
Right above the Parlor Recording Studio. We have 2 offices up there, and we really love it.
Wow, that is way cool.
Yeah.
Billy, oh yeah, we're gonna play a song from the new album. And this is, I was telling you before, I described it in my review for Bluegrass Today. I said it was a beguiling ballad. Very beguiling.
And thanks to you, I know a new word.
Yes, there you go. So this is the current single.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, let's hear some of it.
Bring on the wind. Yeah.
Bring on the wind.
I remember rain was pouring, oh, really coming down. That's how I knew the storm was coming. About that time it came around, I can't say my heart wasn't scared, but it was all in the hands of the man upstairs. Broken hearts like wind and rain, of nature can't be chained to a love that still remains. I guess I'm a fool to pretend, but I swore that I'd love you till the end. So bring on the wind. Ooh, bring on the wind. Well, there's lightning in the distance, oh, and thunder at my door. I always knew what I'd be missing if I couldn't take no more. It's hard for me to think that you don't care. There ain't no place for me to go, so I'll just stay right here. A broken heart's like wind and rain, crashing down and causing pain. Tear you up until you build again. A force of nature can't be chained to a love that still remains. I guess I'm a fool to.
That is beguiling. That really is. That's a beautiful song, and I'm realizing now, because I'm reading my own review, that you produced this album single-handedly. You wrote all the songs except, I guess, one track that your dad had a hand in writing.
Yeah. My dad had recorded that song years ago. I just remember loving it, so we threw it on this record.
Wow.
I had a lot of help on this record. I produced it, but it was co-produced with Jason Roller, actually.
Okay. All right. Wow. Well, I'm sure you're justifiably proud of this album.
Yeah, I am. I'm thankful that I still get to wake up and sing songs for a living. I really am.
Since this album was sort of conceived last year, do you have a new album in the works?
Oh, yeah. We're 3 songs deep on the new one. We
Are
don't
you?
ever stop.
So, when you do a tremendous album like this that's won high praise, and is it a little intimidating now that you're starting your next album? Wow, I got to measure up to my own high bar there.
Nah.
No, okay.
I
didn't think so.
I just love making great music and challenging myself to keep making great music. I mean, this new album is the album I'm on right now.
Okay.
That I'm working on creating right now is far beyond anything I've ever done. So as long as I can keep doing that for myself, I'm fine. Like I put big goals. I mean, this has like a very fluent, full tracks, all in Spanish on this brand new album and stuff like that. Just stuff that's so different.
The new album's in Spanish, Billy?
Two tracks on it are completely done, and they're completely Spanish songs. Bluegrass.
And sung in Spanish?
With bluegrass instrumentation. So it's fun.
Really?
I'm Spanish. My heritage is...
I did not know that. Okay.
Guatemalan and Spain, and Guatemala and Spain. And so that's a big part of my musical heritage. And so I decided, you know what? I'm gonna be the first bluegrasser to ever sing a song in Spanish. So we cut a couple Spanish tunes.
It's not necessarily a bluegrass album that they did, but the Mavericks recently did it. And Elvis Costello,
Linda Ronstadt.
Linda, there you go. Right.
That was one of the highest selling mariachi records of all time.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? I'm just gonna. But nobody in grass ever just went over there, and so I figured they're gonna be like, what the hell is he saying?
No, this is very cool. This is very, very cool.
But in the liner notes, I'll have the translation. It's just 2 old traditional Spanish songs that I thought would be fun, and they sound really cool, like banjos and fiddles. You never hear that kind of instrumentation in mariachi music or down music. So it's fun, and it felt very natural and realistic for me.
Do we have a target date for when this album's coming out?
No, because I'm doing stuff like that. It takes longer for me because I am setting the bar because I want to do stuff I've never done.
All right, so you are setting the bar. You said, no, I'm not.
I said I wasn't worried about matching it because I want to overdo it.
So do you have a title for this upcoming album yet or no?
Absolutely not.
Okay. So if people want to find out more, if they want to follow along, where can they go to find out more?
www.billydroze.com. All the socials. We're on everything, and we've got a guy named Troy Elder who is very responsive on anything. If you send us a note, he'll send it to me. We'll definitely respond back.
You will. All right.
We sure
That's
do.
important.
And we do that whether I'm tired, sick, and it's 4 a.m. in the morning. I will respond back. Don't worry.
All right. Well, you can wait till the next day, Billy. Yeah. It doesn't have to be right away. So, are you on tour right now? Or
what's left of it? Yeah, we've knocked out about the whole tour schedule for this year, and what came back, of course. And so we've got like 4 more dates, and you can find all those dates online.
All right.
Tomorrow night we'll be in Moorhead, Kentucky.
All right.
It's gonna be fun. John Anderson.
Really? All right.
It'll be neat.
Yeah.
Are you headlining?
No, John is.
I'm trying to be optimistic here, Billy. I'm trying to help you.
I might sing a song with him, but he's definitely headlining.
Wow, that's fantastic.
But by the time they hear this, that'll already be a thing in the past. So we can say,
Well, yeah.
Won't be about tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah, by tomorrow. We can't do
Couple
it that
days,
quick.
but
well, I can say I headlined it and sold it out. How about that?
that's
All right,
good.
nobody should question. Well, Billy, it's been great speaking with you.
Yeah, man.
And,
Thank you. Thank you,
Billy.
You've made a new fan here personally, and I'm sure
We're gonna work on our Spanish, right?
Yeah, so we can translate that. Well, I used to live in Miami, so but I still don't know any Spanish.
Well, I can learn it easier in a song, I think. So,
Yeah.
as long as you got you said you're going to put the English translation somewhere.
If you're going to pay for that, because that's expensive in the minor.
Wait a minute. I got it.
Well.
Oh yeah, you got
They,
one
like
more.
I said, we respond on Facebook, so they could just write me and I'll tell them what.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. All right. I guess we better wrap it up.
We better wrap it up
Billy's got a
because
show
this
today,
boy's
man.
playing in a few minutes,
Yeah,
so we got to let him go.
The station in Louisville, Tennessee, not to be confused with the others around the country. But anyway, well, yeah, man. Thanks a lot, Billy Droze. We really appreciate you coming out here and look at Billy. We're going to have his link in the show notes, by the way. And also, big thanks to Lee Zimmerman here. You know, Lee's a famous author. I don't know if anybody knows that, but I think everybody does. You know, he's got a book called Americana Music Voices, Visionaries, Pioneers of Anonymous Sound, now available on Amazon. So
Thank you, Billy Hubbard.
be sure and please like, share, subscribe to My Backstage Pass on your favorite platforms, and we'll see you next time. Happy trails.